Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and Cossacks 3. Today, I'm very excited because I am going to review a game that I played just this last week, and it's a game that's very close to my heart because we have just launched a Discord channel, a Cossacks 3 Discord channel, for, I guess, based on this YouTube account, but generally I just want the people who play Cossacks 3 to like come together as a community so we can have all find some people to play with. And I think that makes it a lot more fun as well. So we have two of the first members of this Discord playing side to side with yours truly for this one. So that's really exciting. It's a 20 minutes peacetime, no artillery, no capture, 3 versus 3 game. And we can start by going through the different players and the different factions or nations. Starting off with me, Red, playing as Spain. And number 2, that's Mitch on the Discord. And he's playing as Turkey right now. And remember what we've said earlier about the Turkish archers being super great. Hopefully we'll see some of that in this fight. If we go to the last player in our team is, of course, Milkman playing as Denmark. You might remember Milkman from an earlier video where he and I played together, and it was super fun. He's a really experienced player, so a lot of fun playing alongside him. You get a lot of tips in the meantime. If we go over to our opponents, first and foremost, we have, you can already see the spread on their positioning. First of all, we have Tarantul in purple playing as Venice. Interesting faction. Had a hard time like learning to like them, but I think they have like some cheaper upgrades, for example, that makes up for them not having a lot of unique troops. And then we can go to his teammate Mio in orange, playing as Algeria, so one Algerian faction and one Turkish faction. And then at the bottom right, Sibik, turquoise, playing as Portugal. So Portugal and Venice and Algeria against Spain, Denmark, and Turkey. Gonna be a lot of interesting stuff for sure. And like I said, I mean, the positioning might be a lot of things to say about this actually, because one, our team is pretty much clumped up. We have the center here, but we can also be attacked from two sides. So you can look at it from two different perspectives, basically. In one end, Sibik is like boxed in against me and Mitch, but on the other side, they can attack us from two sides. But I think we can just start right off into it, and we can go home to my base for starters, and then we get going. Starting off with a pretty basic build, of course, I always do. Starting off with a town hall, and so the first thing I do is hotkey my peasants. I do one hotkey for all of them, and then 2 hotkeys for each half of them. The first I set all of them to town halls, then I take one half with a mill, and the other half to get a storehouse and a blacksmith. And that's because I don't want any down time, because the mill is gonna get finished first, so I can go straight into the market, and then the blacksmith will be done quite shortly after the mill, so they can go up and help right away. And went straight into the harvesting upgrade. Gonna get my second town hall, and then of course while they are building that one, I will be trading resources for yeah, you can see I've already traded for the third town hall, and also I will be trading for both of the barracks so I can get all of those things built as soon as possible. Pretty fortunate to quite early find my first gold mine. Of course, the first one is basically always pretty close by. Starting to build on those as early as possible, of course. Then we could go down to Mitch. How are you doing, Mitch, down here? As Turkey, starting off with 2 town halls and a market, and all 3 of us are, of course, already, like, we are in the Discord together, so we are talking to each other throughout this whole game, giving each other tips and tricks and whatnot. Starting off with 2 town halls and then 2 barracks. Also got the blacksmith, got the market up and running. Hasn't started trading that much yet though. But worth noting is that Algeria and Turkey, I don't think any of them cost gold for their barracks, for example. So that's interesting to note. But they do cost a lot of stone and wood. So now he has some idle time here. Don't really know what to do with his peasants maybe. I think he's trying to trade for, I guess, the third town hall or something like that. A lot of idle time so far. Let's see how Milkman is doing. With Denmark, very tightly built. I think all of us are trying to build as tightly as possible, so we don't need to spend a lot of time for our peasants to walk around on the map to the different buildings. But now he's, of course, starting to scout point-wise. We are doing fine, but it's pretty even so far, actually. So let's go to, first and foremost, we can go to Tarantul up here in the north as Venice. Not as neatly packed of a base, as you can see that. So his peasants are going to spend a lot of time walking between the different locations. One thing that's good here, though, is that the positioning of the town hall is gonna lead to those peasants not needing a storehouse to drop off their stone when they go to the stone excavation point. I don't think they should do that already, though, but he is missing out on a lot of food, a lot of field capacity. He only gets half out of this mill than compared to what he should have. But at least the first two town halls went down quickly, and he's traded like he should do. If we go to his teammate Mio, playing as Algeria, now he's getting the second barrack. So Mitch was a lot faster up on the second barrack, but he is a lot faster on working on the mines. I'm not sure you should spend lumber this early on the iron and coal mines. I much prefer going for the gold ones right away. But worth mentioning is because you trade a lot of your iron for like stone or wood in the beginning, you need at least one iron mine to sustain your production of troops. So that's why it's good to have at least one. You also got the minaret up and running pretty quickly. And if we go down to the right corner, we have Sibik. Very neatly packed base. This is very nice. Could have built a bit more around here, I guess, if you want to be really picky. But the important thing is that all of it is really packed, really neatly packed. And he also focuses on the gold mines. He got one iron mine as well. Very good build so far. He does have his third gold mine. He found it, start building on it. He has his fourth up here. It can be really unlucky on where your gold mines or where your mines in general wind up, where they are generated. Because this gold mine right here, I hope he still sees it, by the way. If not, that's really unfortunate. That is really in the front of the base. Now we don't have capture or artillery, but if we would, they would be prime targets for harassment and very easy to destroy for us. So that's going great in his part. And of course, this is a 20-minute piece, which is different for me because I'm used to 15 minutes peacetime. So it can feel like it's an ocean of time. You have infinite time almost compared to 15. But you also need to like prioritize your build in a good way. So because the longer the peacetime, the other kind of things you can focus on, longer peacetime like 20 or 30, you could focus on 18th century, for example. So you can start going up to 18th century cavalry, not wasting too much resources on 17th century with upgrades and whatnot, and also start going into the 18th century barracks as fast as possible. Now I'm working on my first stable. I'm trying to go for 2 stables instead of the first Diplo center, because of course we're going to run out of population space eventually. But with 20 minutes peacetime, you recruit from the Diplo Center so quickly, so it might be better to spend resources trying to build like better quality buildings. And now I think that I'll see pretty soon that I can afford the second stable, because I do recall that I didn't finish this stable up before I started building the second one. Hopefully, I'll notice that shortly. Nope, now I'm instead starting to build mines. An important thing is, with the Musketeers of Spain, they recruit a lot slower if you compare to mine, 7.5 seconds. If we go over to, for example, Milkman, who has basic ones or Danish ones, makes it in 6 seconds. So he's getting a lot more. But the thing is, I get armored musketeers or muskets, so I will benefit from this upgrade and also this one. Although they are super expensive. There we go. Now I got the second stable. They are super expensive. So I don't even think I was able to... I actually got them at all. We'll notice that eventually, I guess. But I've already gotten all the food excavation upgrades and also the stone. And the reason why I haven't gotten the mining deposit upgrade yet, but you can see my positioning on the mines here. They are closer to Tarantul's base, as they are on the northern side, but I'm pretty lucky in the sense that they are very clumped up still, so I don't have to like run around having one mine like over here or one mine over here, because we play on a normal map, so it's a pretty small map, which means that Like it's pretty easy to get to an opponent very quickly. Now I got the 2 stables. I wonder how long it's going to take for me to realize that I can recruit out of both of them. Who knows? Who knows? The point-wise, I am currently almost in the lead. Second only to Tarantul. So let's check out Tarantul's base as Venice. He is actually, okay, he's already recruiting from the Diplo Center, and he is not getting any Sish Cossacks. They are very useful when you have capturing on, because they will be insanely good at harassing, although they are super weak. So they can't really take any combat anywhere, but they can take a lot of focus away from your opponent while they are running around taking mines. And look at this positioning of the gold mines. This is what you want to see, having them in the back of the base where it's safe. So that was a great positioning for him. But also the first one is a bit, I guess, a bit off. But that might be why he chose to build the barracks closer to that mine. I don't know. I'm guessing. But we were talking during the game. You can see that Mitch went with the Turkish archers because we were discussing this. Like, what's the recruitment? What should you recruit when you play as Turkey? And then we remember all the earlier all the other games where we've faced archers and they have such good range. The Turkish archers and the Scottish archers. I don't think the Algerian archers have that range, but the Turkish ones and also the Scottish ones have such good range. It's insane. And also these archers, you don't need to spend resources on the firepower upgrades in the minaret for these ones. So you also save tremendous amount of resources that way. Another way you save resources, which kind of is a double-edged sword, I guess, is that you don't get the 18th century. So when you play as one of those factions who don't get 18th century, like Algeria or Turkey, you can't really afford for the game to prolong for a longer amount of time, because every minute that passes will give the opponents who goes to the 18th century more recruitment spots, stronger cavalry, stronger infantry, and whatnot. They also have a lot less population space from the town halls as well as the barracks, so they will need to go for a lot of dwellings to sustain their armies. They also have very fast recruitment times. I think 3 seconds. They have a slower recruitment time on the Janissaries, though, even slower than I do on the Musketeers, which is slow as heck. But it's going with round shears, of course, to make a shield wall, basically, or literally a shield wall to protect the archers. We still have 6 minutes left of the peacetime. If we go over to Milkman, how are you doing, my friend? Upgrades hasn't gotten the last food excavation upgrade yet, but I think it's just around the corner. Has gotten the wood cutting upgrade, of course, so now he's going to focus on getting his stables up. He's already working on third one, getting artillery depot and cathedral. So he can get the priest because they heal. I'm very bad at recruiting priests, but they do help out quite a lot in healing your units during these battles. And also the artillery depot is, of course, necessary to go to the 18th century. Same thing with the cathedrals, although we don't have artillery allowed. It's still a necessary building to make. And it's not too expensive, fortunately. But he is getting an army faux show. And now we can look at Mio's base, actually. Because it looks like he's falling behind a bit. And that's the thing when you play as Algeria or Turkey. Usually you fall behind a bit point-wise. But he is doing great. I mean, getting the cavalry bit too early on upgrading them, I guess, but because those, but the thing is, when you can't go up to the 18th century, you don't really have a lot of things to save resources for. To save resources for gold mines, sure, that's a good thing to do, and also to be able to recruit as many troops as possible. But also, since Algeria, you usually want to go for the pikemen and the cavalry. And then round shears as well. I might want to go for dragoons, actually, when it's closer to battle time. So you have something with a bit of a punch behind it. But this is just a melee-based army so far. He looks like he has found all of his mines. Indeed he has. Indeed he has. So that's great. How's it going with the upgrades? Only second and only first level. Second. only first and not even full. So you need to populate your mines, my man. He's he's only down 2 town halls as well. That will hurt him a bit because they're not that expensive. 6.3k stone. That's the same cost. It's actually cheaper to get the third one compared to European factions, but 6.3 stone, that's basic stuff. He can actually afford it right now. We should build it any second just to get that extra population space, and also, of course, to help with the resource collection. Doesn't look like Tarantul is close to getting pop capped. Having a good eye on dwelling buildings, and also the Venetian dwellings have a very like tightly packed build space. So you can mass them up on quite a lot smaller area than other, like Spain, for example. I think ours are a lot bigger. I think they take more space to build for sure. I do think they are very pretty though. Very, very gorgeous dwellings. I also got my third stable, and now I am up to the 18th century, and I've gotten the Montgolfier upgrade, so we get full visibility, which is going to help us out quite a lot. If we look at our opponents, they don't have that yet. So there we have a bit of an advantage, but I think I did a pretty decent job at getting my mines up to level 3. And this one is even one step further. So I am making quite a lot of money, of course, but I'm also spending a lot of money. But if you look at this, I've 89 17th century dragoons, and then I'm going all out on the 18th century. So I haven't even upgraded the damage fully on the dragoons. And then what I'm gonna want to do is go for the fire rate upgrade instead of the firepower upgrade in the beginning, because these ones are huge to increase the rate of fire. And it feels like I should want the stone excavation upgrade too, but I don't think I'm planning on that anytime soon. The 18th century barracks takes forever to build unless you get this upgrade, which I haven't gotten. So this one is gonna take forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever to build. I'm one of few who actually build. I'm actually gonna keep it on me right now, so yeah, so we can get the full map. I think that's gonna be a lot more fun to watch. But the peacetime is up. Milkman is moving in against Orange, and now me and Mitch is trying to think about, okay, like how can I use the Turkish archers as well as possible, like as efficiently as possible. So we are talking about dividing our troops a little bit, so we can try to focus on Sibik and try to snuff him out first. Sibik is not in the 18th century, I don't think yet. Or is he? He might actually be. He might be. Yes. But now we are trying to attack him, and that, of course, opens me up to what I talked about earlier, because if I put my forces into attacking Sibik, then I will be very vulnerable to be attacked by Tarantul, who is their strongest player. So you can second guess, was it the right choice to try to focus on Sibik, because he has done a great job recruiting troops. He has a massive army in his base. Hasn't put his units into formations though. And when we don't have artillery allowed, you should always put your units into formations, because it gives them bonuses to defense and to attack, and they are not as susceptible to. They don't need to worry about artillery fire, because imagine a couple of blobs of howitzer shells or just regular cannons here. That would be devastating. Now we're starting to work on the palisades so we can start moving in, and I'm also pop capped. I need to do something about that. Hopefully I will soon. Completely focus on something else, which means that I will not be getting any troops here. Milkman is still moving in on Mio, and I wonder, yeah, I mean, Tarantul has a massive army right here, and he is changing his recruitment spots to put them in the front of the base where he actually has his army, which makes a lot of sense. They don't, they like wind up where they're meant to be. He's also getting priests, so I'm guessing that Tarantul is actually a pretty experienced player, although he hasn't gotten all of his units into formations yet. But we can look at Mio here, for example. He's also making units into formations, but it's still kind of spreading them out. It might be better to have them like all blobbed up, although since they are melee they are going to, you really need to like mass them up and completely swarm your opponent. Otherwise, they're just going to get shot down by the Dragoons. And I wonder if we're going to see some action here, because down here, yeah, we can see the good range that the Turkish archers have. Only the first line of the musketeers can shoot, whereas most, or at least some lines of the Turkish archers are able to shoot. So they are able to kill quite a lot of musketeers without really losing that much. And here we actually got it, that Mio sallied out with his infantry. And Milkman will be taking him on with his units. Hopefully, he's gonna work that out. But now we saw that Tarantul is working his way into my base, and this is not good. This is not good. I also have a lot of idle peasants. There we go. Please do something. I got the 18th century barrack up, so that's something, and also working on my 5th town hall. But now I can see that he started moving in, so I need to pull my entire army back and try to fight them. It's a good thing that they can't capture buildings or peasants right now, because then I would have one gold mine or one coal mine less. But now I'm just trying to go to work on them with my ranged troops, and I will try to kite a little bit and run back with my cavalry while my round shears are running in to try to take the fight to their round shears. And it is a fight for sure. We're pretty spread out here, so we get a pretty nice angle to shoot at them from. But also Mitch is sending his cavalry in to help. That's huge, because a lot of the round shears from Tarantul is already dead. But now this cavalry will be able to attack the musketeers, taking a lot of their attention away and also decreasing the firepower dramatically. So we were actually able to withstand this assault with a lot of teamwork. Now we can also see that the Milkman, is sending his troops out to try to take some attention off of my base, and have Tarantul focused on that instead. But we were managed to defend this one. Most likely I will try to rebuild this palisade soon, so I won't really have to have that opening. But another opening that that I got was from Sibik's army. He sent in some hussars. They get shot down easily, and the round shears actually pulled back here. They don't have any ranged troops here. They just have a heck of a lot of round shears. So they will be shot down by my troops. And they still haven't gotten the Montgolfier upgrade. At least Sibik hasn't. And Mio can't. And Tarantul... Where are you, Tarantul? There. Tarantul has actually gotten it. So he has the full visibility of the map. And here we have another battle. Milkman is moving in with a trademark really tight formations. And for some reason, Tarantul is actually not shooting. Now he is. But now, because he's moving in like sporadically and not in formation, they will be easy pickings for Milkman. Look at that. Just completely obliterating that army. Taking, of course, a lot of focus away. And taking a lot of pressure off our backs. Because Mitch hasn't really had to deal with that much pressure yet. So he's able to move in with a lot of his round shears and Turkish archers into Sibik's base. And now what I want is to get an opportunity so I can start melting away the palisade to the north, so we can spread out his troops a little bit. But so I would need some archers for that. Either Mitch would lend me some of his Turkish archers, or I can start getting some mercenary archers who are, I mean, not the best at taking down palisades, but they're a lot better than dragoons, I tell you that. So we are moving out here. Unfortunately, Mitch lost his army, but he does have some reserves, fortunately. And Milkman is just basically spawn killing the units from Tarantul. Now what Tarantul should do is take all of his military buildings and set the spawning point right here in the back, so he can mass up his force a lot more. Because this is just easy pickings, fish in a barrel, shooting them down here, compared to clumping them up in the base. But Mio is trying to help a little bit, massing up his forces and moving down on Milkman. But Milkman has a massive army. Not massive, but he has a sizable force already waiting. And it looks like he might already have his troops into formations as well. A lot of them. So I wonder how this is going to turn out. Now I got the archers from the Diplo Center, by the way. So I'll start working on the palisades. dividing Sibik's defensive forces. And it looks like Milkman will win this one pretty comfortably. The archers from Algeria are, of course, very, very weak. Can we get 40 HP? No defensive stats, really. They have no armor, so they die pretty quickly. 150 on flaming arrows. Let's see what I got. 100. So I'm not that much worse with the mercenary archers than we are with the regular Algerian ones. But if we compare that with Mitch, for example, let's see if we have some of his archers. Yeah, 150 as well. So they have the same stats as the Algerian archers when it comes to the flaming arrows. But he does have defensive upgrades for him. So now we are just melting away this palisade, opening up a big enough gap for us to attack Civic eventually. And in the meantime, Milkman is moving into Mio's base, killing everything he gets his hands on. Even moving up with peasants, getting everyone. Everyone! And he's still holding Tarantul in his base. And now Tarantul is setting his spawn point a bit back so we can start mashing up his troops. So he's doing the best he can there, actually. But Mio, pretty much out of the game currently. He is trying to move his peasants away to relocate in Tarantul's base. And down here, Siege of Sibik. We're just chilling right now, basically. He hasn't put any of his units into formations, it doesn't look like. Has he put... Yes. He has put one big-ass formation of round shears there, but he should also, of course, mass up everything into one little blob here. And what I'm going to try to do now is move my ranged troops a little bit closer so I can see if I can just start sniping stuff down and see if he notices it. And what I'm going to do here is set them to stand ground mode so they won't start running after anything, but they will just hold their ground here and shoot at anything that comes in range. Moving up all of my ranged troops. Yeah, Milkman wiped out Mio. Mio is also destroying all of his military buildings. I don't know if he has actually checked out yet, but he might have actually. Because, yeah, I'm guessing that he's actually surrendered right now because he hasn't started rebuilding anything and all of his buildings are getting destroyed, which happens when you surrender. So now we're still... Oh, they didn't even attack. Why aren't your soldiers shooting? They should. They are allowed to. They just choose not to. Milkman did such a great job this game, just taking the pressure off of me and also off of Mitch when taking care of Tarantul. Just holding him back there. And actually, Mio hasn't given up quite yet because he just moved his peasants. So I wonder what his strategy is. He's also destroying the mines. And now Sibik is moving in, so I will try to face him. I have bayonets with my 18th century musketeers, but I'm also moving in with my round shears. And of course, shooting down everything with my ranged troops in stand ground. We were able to kill them very, very quickly. Formations actually do quite a lot. So it's worth putting him into formation. And in the same time, Mitch is moving in from the southwest. Rather from the west. Let's call it from the west. With his troops, which will mean that the Turkish archers are going to be able to kill buildings very, very quickly. And Tarantul has given up. His buildings are being destroyed. And any second now, I'm guessing that the same thing will happen to Sibik. You can see that some mines already exploded. And now all the rest is going down. And that is game, ladies and gentlemen. That is game. So, a prime example of teamwork and the importance of being able to communicate throughout the game, actually. Because me and Mitch were able to coordinate a little bit. And when I was attacked by Tarantul, we were able to coordinate with Milkman. And he, of course, teammate as ever, came up and helped us there. Took out Tarantul's army and also killed him for quite a while. Taking care of that. So this was a really, really fun game to play. I did a massive amount of mistakes, most likely. But eventually, through great communication and great teamwork, we were able to seize the day and win this battle. Great stuff. And also, I'm going to put a link on this video to the Discord channel. If you want to join, if you want to have people to play with you can actually communicate with during the game, we will also try to add some tips and tricks into the channel, for example. And also, if we have like any news regarding the game, I think that would be fun to add to the channel as well. So I will add a link to it, and feel free to join. We would be happy to have you, as long as you are nice. If you're a douchebag, find somewhere else to hang out. But if you're a good person, enjoy playing Cossacks 3, then you are very welcome, and we'll be happy to have you. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and take care. I will see you the next one.
The Weird Bubble.